Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the joint public agency meeting for August 23rd. Tim Clare and Carl Eskridge are here with me, Chris Beitler, to conduct the meeting today. Notice of the open meetings law is posted in the back for your reference. We operate under the open meetings law, of course. Public comment is welcome on all items of the agenda, and the general rule is we allow each person to speak for 5 minutes on specific items. And all that we ask is that people identify themselves for the record. With that, we'll move to agenda item number 3, approval of the minutes from the JPA meeting held July 26, 2018. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. Call the roll.
Beitler?
Yes.
Eskridge?
Yes.
Clare?
Yes.
They are approved. Agenda item number 4, approval of the July 2018 payment register and review of the July 2018 expenditure report. Brandon, good afternoon.
So you have before you the July payment register. The total operating expenditures are $650,516.71, and capital expenditures of $9,108.56. Just to cover some of the larger payments that were made in the operating budget, you have a $30,920 payment. That's to CEIA USA. That's for the metal detectors. You have $14,756.99 back to SMG. That's for food and equipment maintenance, elevator, escalator contract, and IT maintenance. There's the $20,700 payment, and that was for the ice makers. That was approved by this board. You have the $206,674 to DEC, of which 62% is billed back to the private sector, or about $128,000. So the $78,000 payment is what remains for the JPA. You have the $202,280. That's the annual management payment to SMG for their annual management contract. And then you have $155,977.37 for parking management services. For the expenditures and the capital, they were primarily related to canopy design, environmental maintenance, and then also PC Sports contract. I'll stand for any questions on the payment register.
You said the 62% of the amount of monies paid to DEC, or $206,000, is billed back to the private sector.
Yes.
Now, where does that show up on here?
It shows up, so we receive those payments on the revenue side.
Right.
So this is just the expenditure report. You have included in your packet, there's a statement of revenues, expenditures, and fund balances as of July 31st. On that statement, there's, within the revenue side, there's DEC customer payments, and those are in the amount through July 31st, $1,456,826.
Can you show me where that is?
That statement, that covers the total revenues, expenditures, and then fund balances that are remaining within the JPA.
So that 62% is being collected from the private sector, the private sector tenants that are,
Yes.
that are here.
Mm-hmm.
And this figure represents that 62%. Gotcha.
Yep,
Okay,
that's correct.
thank you.
Any other questions of Brandon?
So within, you have all those, since this is all on one item now, all the payments are included in the expenditure reports that you also have. And then this is a newer report that we started including in the last month. Year to date, you have total revenues of $26,595,484 compared to total expenditures of $23,798,078 for a net surplus of $2,797,000 or $797,046 or $406. So your current ending balance as of July 31st is $37,004,094.
Which compares to where we were expecting to be when?
So our occupation taxes right now, they're up 2.29% for the year, but compared to the original projections, those are 25% up, so they're comparing to the year 2029.
All right, any other questions of Brandon? Is there public comment on this item?
Jane Kinsey with Watchdogs. So the payment to SMG for management, what period does that cover?
So that would be the management payment. Is that for the? Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke on that. That's actually the loan payment that. So when the arena was started, there was some funds that were advanced to the city, to the JPA from S&G for operations. So this is the repayment of that. So that would be the $206,674.
I think we're in a different one. What line item? I'm talking about this one right here.
202.
202.
That's
Management
what
to
you're talking-
SMG.
That's the loan payment.
So are you talking about another one?
I'm sorry, I was looking from the wrong line there.
Okay.
It is that 202,000. I read off the number above.
Okay,
So it's
all right.
2,280.
So this is what?
That was a pre-opening loan from SMG.
SMG loaned the city money?
That was a loan that was taken out, yes. I think it was at 0.19% or something like that. Yeah.
Just to handle startup expenditures.
What was the rationale for that?
It was an advance of money to handle basically operating expenditures at the arena, since the JPA hadn't collected funds.
Okay, that's before the bonds were.
Well, that would be, I think, before the arena opened, to handle operating expenditures and before occupation taxes were being collected by the JPA.
Okay, so that was to get them, they were loaning money to the JPA to get started with the idea that they were going to be the management?
Well, there was a management contract in place.
Okay.
So this was basically a startup loan.
So before it's even opened, there's a management contract to them, and they lend money to the city?
They did lend the JPA funds.
Is that usual?
I can't speak of whether that's usual or not.
I don't think the public knew that. What kind of ice maker costs $200,000? It must be more than an ice maker.
The ice makers were $23,700.
Okay, and the other is the HVAC that failed?
Are you talking about the 14,750?
No, the 206, right above.
That's the payment to District Energy Corporation for basically the whole JPA area. And then.
Oh, okay.
And
I see.
then we bill back to the private customers.
Okay. Which one is the ice makers then?
That would be the $23,700 under
Oh,
concession
session
equipment.
equipment,
Mhm.
okay. Okay. So has that loan been paid off?
No, we still have outstanding balances.
How much
We have 5 more years.
to pay that back to SMG?
Mhm.
Of 200, is that a yearly payment or a monthly payment?
That's an annual payment. I can
Annual?
send you the schedule if you so like.
Okay. And so the city is obligated to keep SMG as a management.
Well, the SMG contract is a contract considered by the city and approved every 4 years.
Besides the loan.
It's a management contract, yeah.
5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jane. Any other public comment? Okay, with respect to agenda item number 4, is there approval of the payment register?
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the payment register. Any further conversation? Call the roll.
Beitler,
Yes,
Eskridge.
Yes.
Claire,
Yes.
it is approved. Agenda item number 5, WH Resolution 18-13, being presented to us by Adam.
Adam Hopelheinrich, PC Sports. WH 18-13 is approval to enter an agreement for the purchasing agent to enter an agreement with the lowest responsible bidder for some pigeon proofing underneath the arena plaza on the north end of the arena. Since we've opened the building, we've had some pigeon issues underneath there, and we're looking for a permanent fix that will be a one-time, we'll do this once and we'll be complete with the work. So little background on it, there's an arena ramp and the Lincoln Bridge, and there's that elevated plaza on the northeast side of the arena, and underneath that is where the basketball team enters, where there are staircases and also a lot of pedestrian access underneath there. And we've had issues with pigeons dropping in that area. We tried fiberglass spikes to no avail, so we're looking for a more permanent solution that will be a known solution that we know will last. So we have taken public bids. The lowest apparent bid right now is for $77,600, and it's addressing approximately 650 feet of ledge underneath that plaza.
Questions? Serious?
It's about time.
Serious questions?
No, I'm thrilled you're finally getting this addressed, because we took care of it on the south end, and we took care of it by Harris Overpass, and it's provided a lot of additional parking for an otherwise vibrant area. On the north side of the arena, however, you cannot walk there without watching where you step, and I've been on you with photographs as I go through there on a regular basis, so I'm thrilled that you're getting it taken care of. And you know, aside from the aesthetics, the fact that there are safety issues, I'm sure, with that, and health issues, so I'm glad you're taking care of it, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I did bring a couple pictures of what it looks like now versus what the fix is. There is a fix used in a downtown garage that is very similar, so it's just a way to prevent them from landing and roosting. So, and then here's just a sheet metal panel does the trick, so.
Okay, any further questions of Adam? The public comment on the pigeons?
Jane Kinsey with Watchdogs, and who was it that got this job?
It's not officially awarded yet, but
Oh, it isn't?
Dickie Hines Muir is the apparent low. And we did it through the city purchasing website and purchasing department.
So this
The
is,
county in this
you don't
case.
have the contract?
It's not finalized, no.
Okay. But you want the money? 77.6?
We're looking today for approval for the purchasing agent to proceed with the contract, yes.
To what?
We're looking for approval today for the purchasing agent to proceed with the contract, yes.
Okay, so then you have to come back?
I don't believe so.
No?
This is the board action, I think.
So, what, is this supposed to work?
We've seen this work in the past very successfully, so that is why we went to this method.
In other places or here?
Yeah, that downtown garage I took a picture from today, yes, has issues elsewhere, but not where they put this.
Okay.
Is there any further comments on agenda item number 5? Public comment? If not, any further discussion, gentlemen? If not, is there a motion to approve WH 18-13?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Further comments? Call the roll.
Beitler,
Yes.
Eskridge,
Yes.
Claire,
Yes.
Resolution is approved. Agenda item number 6, resolution WH 18-14. Caleb.
Caleb Swanson with PC Sports. The resolution 1814 is for the approval for payment for 5 different light fixtures for the Harvest art sculpture that is in the plaza to the south of the arena for $6,730.65. This resolution would also authorize the JPA to seek reimbursement from the West Haymarket Endowment Fund. If you recall, that was a fund that was set up by this board about 1.5 years ago with a very specific set and list of items that were to be covered by that endowment that were outside of the scope of what might be considered typical public right-of-way maintenance. So items such as sidewalks, street cleaning, pulling the weeds, those are not eligible for coverage by this endowment, and that was a very specific objective and goal of this board. One of the goals and objectives of this board when that foundation, or when that endowment was entrusted to the Parks Foundation, was this particular art piece and some of the lighting and amenities that go along with it. So these are a couple fixtures that have failed over the course of about the past year or so. We've identified the supplier. SMG has actually, through a purchase agreement, to provide these fixtures to replace them. SMG will be doing the install with their own licensed electricians to help save the endowment a little bit of money as kind of their effort to help keep that plaza looking good and that sculpture looking good. So that's the resolution that's before you today, and I'll entertain any questions on it.
Questions of Caleb?
So the monies to pay for this are being paid for out of that endowment?
They would be
that was
paid for out of
established
the
and
endowment.
Not being paid out of any sort of JPA funds?
They'd be out of the endowment, correct. If this resolution were approved.
Caleb, the issues that have required us to replace these lights, are they being addressed? The water getting
Yeah,
into?
there's a couple different issues that have caused different failures. 1 or 2 of them have been water related, and then a couple of them have been due to the fact that these light fixtures, the glass lens that covers them actually has a very slight curvature to it, and that's caused a couple issues with snow removal. We are looking right now with the electrical consultant who specified these fixtures at, are there other options for maybe a more flat lens? One of the concerns with a flat lens is that that arc is intended to try and help shed water away from the fixture. So we're looking with that consultant to try and find lenses that might achieve both purposes. And also it's working with the snow removal folks that are doing that removal, just making sure that they become aware of just some of the extra care that has to be taken around that sculpture.
Thank you.
The lights were broken?
A couple, not all of them, but a couple were during snow, the first season of snow removal, yes.
Okay. Any other questions of Caleb?
Well, if they were broken, what do you mean they were broken? Were they, something didn't function properly, or did the actions in removing the snow, for example, break the light?
So what happens is because of that arc on the fixture, they come up just above the surface of that concrete. And if you catch them with the wrong piece of equipment at a high enough speed, you have the chance of chipping a fixture. And it's something that you don't necessarily notice right away if it's not a complete shattering. And that, we think, may have been helping contribute to some of the water issues. If a fixture gets bumped, it might offset that or chip that lens. It might not be noticed right away, but then long term that might cause water issues, not necessarily immediately, but even down the road. So we've been working with SMG on that, about delineating those areas during snow removal, and they're now going to, instead of mechanically removing snow around that sculpture, they're going to be doing it by hand, is their plan, to try and help prevent those issues in the future. And that's another reason that they've offered to kind of install those fixtures at their cost, as kind of their effort towards helping resolve the issue. So the JPA will not be paying for the installation. SMG's volunteered to do that.
Other questions of Caleb? Thank you. Is there public comment on this item?
Jean Kinsey with Watchdogs. So this is something that's already there and you're having to repair it?
Correct. These are
Go ahead.
around the exterior of the sculpture in the plaza. There's a series, I believe it's either 10 or 12 in-grade light fixtures that help illuminate the piece at night. And there's a few of those that are in need of replacement. Yes, it's not an addition.
For $6,000?
They are, because of the different protections that the housings for these fixtures require for salt purposes, for water intrusion purposes, they are a rather expensive fixture. In-grade lights are always a little tricky to do, especially in a cold weather climate, and they do take a little bit more care and maintenance, so yes.
How often is that going to have to be done?
That's part of the goal with working with SMG on the snow removal. We think if we can prevent some of those issues, we're hoping that this isn't an ongoing occurrence. There's another series of lights on the inside of this sculpture that had one or two fail during their warranty period that were replaced, and there haven't been any issues with those since then. So we're hoping this would be a similar case. Once we've identified some of the more common issues, we address the issues and kind of prevent some of that maintenance going forward.
Okay. Did you request that it come from the endowment fund, or did the board request that?
It's been an ongoing discussion as this endowment was set up, what the endowment was to be used for, and as the public exterior art was identified, it's in the fund statement as a specific area that the endowment is intended to cover. So as we reviewed the options for where that funding was going to come from, it seemed like it was intended from the beginning to come from this endowment. So that's the purpose of why it's on the agenda.
Okay. So the endowment's just to take care of art?
Not just art, no. There's the fund statement has a long narrative over the things that it does and does not cover. And in the list of inclusions is the exterior public art outside of the arena. It's one of a variety of things.
Okay. Is that a public document?
I would assume so, yes.
It is? So I would like to have a copy of that. Please, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Do I contact you about that? Okay. And so the JPA manages the endowment fund as well as the lists here? Are they separate, or is it listed in these papers about the financing?
I'm not an expert on the finances, but to my knowledge, the endowment is not listed in the budget numbers. The endowment is managed by the Lincoln Parks Foundation.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Is there further public comment? Thank you, Caleb. Is there a motion to approve WH 18-14?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further comments? Call the roll.
Beitler?
Yes,
Eskridge?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
it is approved. Agenda item number 7, resolution 18-15, having to do with the right-of-way agreement, right-of-entry agreement. Tim, welcome.
Yes, members of the board, Tim C., the City Law Department. What you have before you today is a right-of-entry agreement. This is for Olson Associates to conduct some survey work as well as some geotechnical study of a site in the West Haymarket. You'll see it on the projector here. The blue area is the area in question. To orient you a little bit, this is O Street, the Harris Overpass area. Canopy Street is here. The Olson building would be here. The blue 3 garage is here. It's the lot between the Olson building and the Harris Overpass. And again, there's no compensation involved with this. It's just an agreement to allow them to go onto the property and conduct those operations, similar to a number of other right-of-entry agreements this board has approved in the past. And with that, I'd take any questions.
Questions of Tim? Being none, thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Is there public comment on this item?
Jane Kinsey with Watchdogs. So there is some problem with whether this has EPA issues? Is that it?
No, there's no indication of a problem. This is just a request by Olson to go onto the property and do some study with respect to surveying the boundaries, looking at the soil conditions as part of I assume, a due diligence process that for someone who might be looking at the site.
For someone who what?
Who might be looking at the site to consider improvements on the site.
Okay. Under their jurisdiction or the JPA?
Well, the situation is the JPA still owns the property, and so in order to give Olson permission to go on the property to conduct this work, this is the agreement that allows them to do that.
They have to do that,
Yep.
okay. So it might be sold?
That could happen in the future, but this is just an operation to determine the conditions.
Okay, to make it sure it's
Right.
clean or habitable or so forth, EPA. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something else?
Nope, that's all.
Okay.
Is there any further public comment? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve agenda item number 7, 18-15? It's been moved to approve the resolution. Is there a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded. Further discussion, gentlemen? Call the roll.
Beitler?
Yes,
Eskridge?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
it is approved. Agenda item number 8, resolution 18-16. Tim is coming back to tell us about the settlement agreement of note.
Of note, Tim C., City Law Department. The board will recall this was a version of this agreement was approved back in May of 2018. City Council approved an amended version of this agreement at Monday's City Council meeting. The changes that were made to the agreement that was originally in front of this board can be found in section 2 on page 3. The purpose of those amended language is to make it absolutely clear as to the party's intent that the use restrictions found in Section 404 of the original redevelopment agreement will continue to apply to the public market area. The financial terms are the same. The developer will be repaying $266,666.67. Other than that, the agreement remains unchanged, and we would just ask you to approve it. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions of Tim? Seeing none, is there public comment on this particular item?
Jean Kinsey with Watchdogs. When this issue of talking about some change at the city council, there was a kind of a overstatement that the management of TDP were not good landlords. There had been complaints about their charges for rental, about their, actually a lawsuit at one time filed against them about that. And I think the public needs to know that the history of this organization is not proving to be what it should be. We have questions about whether the city should be involved with them at all. But I guess things are just going to have to shake out in a different, more difficult situation before the city will be able to do, and the JPA will be able to do anything about it. It's not a good sign. And I don't know that they've made any effort to address that, at least publicly. So there are a lot of unhappy tenants down there at this time. And there was also more considerations about, at the Monday meeting, about expanding some kind of pedestrian walkways down there for game days, and that didn't go over well either. I think, and Watchdogs believes it would behoove the JPA and the city to have some kind of consultation to see what the feeling and the climate, the morale and so forth, could be improved down there, because it's not looking to go in the best direction. And this is since the beginning. We went down and talked to the first tenants who were there when it first opened, and right from the start there was negative feeling about it. So we think it's important for that to be brought before the boards and before the public.
Richard Halverson, that use restrictions, what does that involve? I take it.
Pardon me?
The use restrictions is still in effect?
The use, some of the use restrictions are still in effect. A couple of them are not in effect.
Technically, they can serve beer there now?
Pardon me?
Technically, they can serve beer there now?
I think so.
Okay.
Are you talking about the new use restrictions?
Right.
Well, there are no new use restrictions.
Right.
The use restrictions have been in place since the time that this
I
agreement
mean,
went
the
into
old
place.
ones that have been adopted are the standard,
They're the standard redevelopment
be adopted,
agreements.
the standard TIF
Right.
agreements.
Okay. Like I was pointing out just before me, yeah, there was testimony, and seemed to be testimony that the developers did not act in good faith to attract new tenants. In fact, one group said they had 4 different vendors, were willing to sign contracts, and they got turned down by developers, flat out. So it appears they took our money in TIF, and it looks like did not really market the space. There was not extensive marketing, and now they think, well, we got a chance to make more money. So they went out of the agreement. And I think it's going to be, well, I'm pretty sure I can guarantee you what's going to go in there is beer. Again, they didn't bring it. It wasn't mentioned at the city council who the new leasee is, but there was a representative from one of the bars there, so I'm sure, and they mentioned they wanted to be in there pretty soon. I mean, this wasn't public testimony, when I was talking to them. So actually, they want to again, expand, I guess, their bar. So instead of having, like one of the things they mentioned was bubble tea and some other, I can't remember what the other 3, businesses were. So instead of being able to go down there and get a bubble tea, you go down there and get a beer, which they can get in 4 or 5 other places. So again, I know this is going to pass, but again, I'm kind of surprised the city would limit out this. They signed the contract, and now they think.
But what is your relationship, sir, if I may ask, to the,
the
situation?
My relationship is just a member of the public. That's a nice. I saw some of the little pop-up shops there when they were down there, and now they got popcorn and a slushy place, the only 2 things. And again, they pointed out at the city council meeting that they were charging above market rents, which is why a small business couldn't survive. And one of the people was there said, yeah, we tried it for a while, but well, I don't know exactly, but they were way above market rents, so we couldn't make a go of it. Now, rather than lower the rent and still make a profit, I guess they decided, well, we'll just, we want the X amount, we want more profit. We don't really care about keeping a public space, so to speak. And they made different arguments. Well, they get to use the restroom and, all that, well, like somebody else. But, well, those restrooms on the ground floor serve the whole entire market. So that, and the heat and light, which they have to heat and light anyway, that was their argument for charging above market rents. But again, they appeared, somehow they didn't, well, it's like we didn't get more revenue by just getting out of the contract. And that's what's going to happen. And there won't be, well, I'm pretty sure there won't be any 3 or 4 different businesses down there, small businesses. There's just going to be, I again don't know exactly how it's going to be configured, but I think that's just going to be another bar. You got some of the popcorn down there. I don't know, they haven't mentioned whether that's going to stay or not. I hope at least that stays. And the slushies, I had some of the slushies too. But again, just the fact, like I say, again, there's no, again, I guess their profit motive. They don't want 10% profit, whatever they were making, they want X more, So, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there further public comment? All right, if not, is there further discussion? If not, call the roll.
Beitler?
Yes.
Eskridge?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
The resolution is passed. Agenda item number 9 is the next meeting date, which is proposed for September 25th, 2018 at 2:30 at the City County Building, Council Chambers, first floor. Without objection, that will be the next meeting date. Are you both okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. Call the roll.
Beitler?
Yes,
Eskridge?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
we are adjourned.